You are listening to Veterans Action Report on KGRA Digital Broadcasting. I'm your host, Nick, coming to you live from St. Paul, Minnesota.
And I'm Andrew Canales, coming to you live from Evergreen, Colorado.
Every day, veterans are struggling with many issues spanning from homelessness to mental health crisis, often leading to 22 veterans a day taking their own lives. There are veterans all around the U.S. leading the fight to help guide our brothers and sisters to a better life. We will bring you stories from all around the country telling tales of veteran struggles and triumph. Every episode benefits veteran-run nonprofits Warriors Next Adventure, helping veterans fight PTSD through recreational therapy and new adventures. And Houses for Warriors, helping solve the homeless crisis, leading veterans to a better lifestyle. Good afternoon and welcome to Veterans Action Report on KGRA Digital Broadcasting. Again, I just want to say thank you to KGRA for giving us this time slot. They don't charge us anything, which is amazing, and I'm grateful for everything that these guys have done for us the last like 7-8 months or something like that. Today I got Josh on today. What's up, dude?
What's up?
Josh, you've been on a couple times. The reason why I had Josh on today is just because there has been so many things going on with WNA recently, and I just wanted to have Josh come on to not only talk about some of the things we've been doing, but also he's officially the ops assistant for operations.
Pretty exciting
because you need to keep my ass on track.
Somebody needs to.
So pretty much what we've been doing is planning out this retreat, man. My headphones. Hey, Chanel, let me know if I'm still good with volume and everything real quick. My headphones keep going out, so I'm gonna have to take them off. All right, sorry guys. Okay, cool. So I'm usually not used to doing this without headphones on. It's gonna be weird. So what's going on now is I found a place for the retreat. Since Warriors Next Adventure started, I decided that we were going to start a mental health retreat that's going to be a place to change people's lives. It's for veterans, but it's also going to benefit the community all around Minnesota, which is going to be amazing. So the point is, I'm getting ready to sell my house. I wanted to move out there and just have the nonprofit or anything, but we ran into some legal issues. So it's just easier for me to say, screw it. So I'm selling my house and I'm buying 40 acres out in Mora, Minnesota. It's about an hour north of the cities, which is perfect because we want to initiate the 3-day effect. Have you dig into that yet?
Explain that, but I can understand.
I'm gonna have to make you read that fucking book, dude. Okay. It's so good. So essentially what it is when you spend more than, it's like 3 or more days out in the wild or just in a different environment other than inside the city, like just get away from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. What you do is you actually drastically reduce your amount of cortisol production and you drastically release the amount of stress that you have. They did a study in Utah where they actually put I think it's the EEG monitors.
The electrode things?
Yeah, the electrode monitors they put on your heads. And what they did was they actually tested a group of veterans and took them out whitewater rafting and camping. Okay. And every single one of them saw a drastic decrease in cortisol production. And so cortisol is one of the reasons why you produce, amounts of stress, or why you have amounts of stress inside your body. Yeah. So we're trying to enact a 3-day effect, and being an hour outside of the city is part of the reason for that, because the perfect thing is this retreat it's in Cornland, right? Which is amazing. There's 40 acres, which I actually planned on showing on the property here, or showing on the show here. So if you guys are just listening, you guys can go over to KGRA Digital Broadcasting on YouTube or on their actual site, or you can go to Veterans Action Report on YouTube and check it out. Anyway, so like I said, it's about an hour north of Minneapolis, and our reasoning for all of this is to actually get veterans a place to go just to disappear for a couple days. We're going to have lodging, which is going to be amazing. The lodging is we're working on 4 bedrooms with bunk beds and a single, so we can have 3 veterans in each room, and then also 3 to 4 bedrooms with single beds in it for like staff, right? So if you come up and help with the retreat, you would get your own room
for sure.
So you would stay there for the week, just to help us out and everything, free room and board and everything like that, which would be nice. But whenever these rooms are not being utilized, what I would like to do is have it a space for veterans to like just go disappear for the weekend. Like, let's say you just need to get out of the house for the weekend and you need a place to stay. You can come as a veteran, stay there rent free.
For sure.
Or not rent, but like we wouldn't charge you a fee to stay there. We would just say, hey, you're going to have some chores to do for the day, right? So it would be like an hour of chores to stay there for a whole weekend. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think that's asking too much. And it's simple things like help out with hay dispersal for the horses, like sweep up the shop, mop the mats in the jiu-jitsu room, clean up the weightlifting equipment. That's not too much to ask. So I'm going to share my screen here real quick so everybody can kind of see what exactly we're doing. I'm so excited for this property. And the cool thing is 0 nonprofit dollars are going towards buying this place. It's all going to be me. And then, so if you look here on the screen, this whole square here is a 40-acre plot, which is amazing, right? So the house is dead center, right on the middle of the property. This whole section right when you turn onto the property is all what we're going to rent out to the nonprofit, which is going to be amazing. So we'll have the weightlifting gym and jiu-jitsu gym right here. We'll have the main retreat building here, and then we'll have lodging and everything here. Whether it's connected to the main building or not, I'm not sure. And then down here we'll have the barn, and then this whole area will all be open for the horses and, you know, whatever animals we decide to get. So let's go back over here. 1 second, guys. So yeah, Josh has been helping me kind of come up with a lot of the stuff. And what do you think about it all?
It's just crazy to see how far we've come in such a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Like how many weeks ago was it we were busting out the computer and the green beans?
I know, right?
That was a good day.
So you went down with me, was it June 24th? We had a event down at Papio Pub in down in Omaha, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Jesus. Shout out to everybody down in Omaha. We met a lot of really cool people out there. That was actually your first
That was
fundraiser.
my first thing, man.
So what did you think about like what we do, you know, like as a representative of Warriors Next Adventure? Like what did you think about all of that? Because that was the first time really seeing the impact in person.
It was you know, I had no idea what to expect, but when you got there, actually seeing the like human connection, man, like the camaraderie and just it felt genuine. Felt like we were doing something good, and it just felt great.
And it's beautiful seeing grown-ass men walking up to
Yeah.
us sharing stories about like depression and suicide. And it's like, how often do people have a platform where they could just come up to a random stranger and
It's
be like,
surprising at first. It's like, oh damn, okay,
I know,
you're gonna
right?
do this. All right, let's do it right here.
Well, that's the beautiful part of what Warriors Next Adventure does is we create environments like that where people can actually like do that. And that's exactly what it's for. So let's see. This is awesome. Seamus O'Leary says it's a great idea. I moved from LA to the middle of the Ozarks, Mark Twain National Forest. I heard that's beautiful. And he says life has been so much more better. So change lives of many. Yeah. So the beautiful part is like this place is for veterans, but it's gonna be a place where anybody can come. Like,
Yeah.
so like say a group of you guys, you know, a couple guys who are non-veterans want to come up and stay for the weekend. It's gonna be really cheap. So you want to rent out 1 bedroom for the weekend, it's gonna be like $150.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I like
We might do cheaper or more. I'm not sure. We don't have prices set yet. But we want it to
And
be
if
a
we're
place.
not using it for what we're doing. You might as well.
Exactly. And then we'll also have like a classroom and everything. So I'm going to share the screen one more time to show everybody kind of what we're talking about doing here. So if you go down, we got a PowerPoint here. We're going to show everybody. So again, if you guys are just listening on the radio, go ahead and check out the YouTube later. So the building one concept, it's a 100 by 50 foot building on the main building. And then we'll have 2 side cutoffs that are 100 feet by 14. And then the other side is, I think it was 50 feet by 14 feet.
Okay.
That one's going to be the storage shed. So the main concept is, so if you guys are watching this little section here, the 14 foot by 100 foot will be all the bedrooms and then also 2 bathrooms. We also added an extension that's going to be a kitchen. So we'll have a full like chef's kitchen, which another thing we're going to be teaching is cooking because I love cooking. I'm going to teach people while they're up there to make some of my favorite meals that are pretty healthy. Some of them are very unhealthy, but delicious. And then some of them are just extremely intricate and you need to have soft hands to be able to do these kind of things. And you got to work at it, right? One of my many passions is cooking. And so that's something I want to teach people, but
All about those analogies, man.
exactly.
Mr. Miyagi and people.
I know, right? But the beautiful thing is like every single project we have in this facility is essentially to get veterans focusing on something while we talk about mental health and traumas, right? So what you're doing essentially, like I've been telling people for years, is you're pairing a new adventure with an old trauma, right? And so what that does is it lowers it lessens the power that trauma has over you. And this is worked for me, right? This is what
It's worked
Warriors
for me
Next
too,
Adventure
yeah.
is.
It's one of the things.
Exactly. And the beautiful thing is, the reason why Warriors Next Venture is so successful is because I was doing it to myself for years before I perfected it and actually got out and started using it on veterans. So when I started using it on veterans, my buddy Aaron was my first one. I talk to him all the time about it. And he told me about a year after we did our initial, talking about everything, the 6 principles. And we went on a hike and we talked a lot about, the things that he was going through. Again, I'm not going to share his stuff, but a year later, he's like, dude, that conversation changed my life. And that's when I knew, like, I need to make this happen.
It's not a conscious decision to let it goes past your, like, it allows you to create those new things without even knowing that you're doing it. Really.
Yeah. It's
So
amazing.
You don't even realize it until later.
And those 6 principles, it's not me. Like, yeah, it came from me. I created it and everything like that. But like, it's essentially, it's you can replicate it, right? So once you dive into it enough, you can start teaching it. And that's my plan, right? My plan is to make you the next one. So like, if I'm going to be gone for a month, Josh can be teaching, Josh can be leader, and that's what I want. Is I need somebody that's, dedicated, but also has the time, but also has the heart and the mindset, right? So that's you're the person that's been really fucking hard to find, right? So you essentially created yourself into that person for me, which I really appreciate it. I know it wasn't for me, but
it works out.
I'm taking advantage of it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But the beautiful part is
for you. That's how it works.
Yeah. I mean,
For you, it's mutually beneficial.
Yeah, Jerry Maguire, help me help you, And that's exactly what I've seen in you, your transformation and everything, which we've talked about on later podcasts or other episodes, and then the WNA podcast. But like, seeing you keep taking those next steps, like, you continue to be the example of what WNA is all about, and that's why you're coming with Do the Pitch with us. August 11th, we have a pitch. Our friend Cheryl down in Omaha hooked us up with a couple very, very deep pockets. I'm not going to say who they are yet. But we're pushing for about $1.5 million to get this retreat done. So this building here that's still on video, we'll have a wood shop and an auto shop in the lower half. So it'll be 50 feet by 50 feet for the auto shop, 50 by 50 for the wood shop. The second story in the back, which will be back here, we'll also have a patio on the second floor, which would be great. On this side, we'll have a music studio / podcast studio. So we will not be doing this out of my front room anymore. We'll have a legitimate studio, which is going to be amazing. Awesome, and then over here, we'll have a classroom. So the classroom will be 25 feet by I think 25 by 16 or something like that.
Okay.
So that's a pretty decent sized classroom. So we're going to have chairs and we're going to have like sofas and shit like that. But it'll also be, we'll have tables to actually set up an actual legitimate classroom with a projector and everything. So we can teach a lot of these concepts. A lot of the things that we talk about on this show and on Warriors Next Venture podcast is essentially what we're going to be teaching at this retreat. Now, Josh, you've been somebody who's helped me refine a lot of what I've been doing, because you're another one of those people that likes to look at things from a bunch of different angles, so you have a lot to do with this place, like, actually coming to fruition,
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like you have a bunch of ideas, and it's like, I'm just giving them back to you in different ways. And
well, it's looking at my idea at a different angle,
and
an outside perspective, and that's what everybody needs.
And I also appreciate how much it's gonna do. Like, I know, I can tell. I know.
Yeah.
Like, you say these things, I'm like, that's gonna be awesome. That's gonna help so much. This is why.
And that's why everybody needs somebody. Everyone needs a Josh, right? Not to stroke your ego or anything, but everyone needs a friend or like a mentor or somebody that can see what they're like. If you go to somebody with some excitement and that person shits all over your dream, like, get rid of that person instantly. Man. Like, don't ever talk to that person again, because anybody who automatically shits on one of your dreams is not going to be your champion, right? They're not going to be your cheerleader. It's not going to happen, right? It's one of the things.
At the same time, you also know what it takes to get to the place.
Exactly.
So if somebody comes up to me with a bunch of misplaced excitement, like, I know them, and I know that I'm going to let them know what's going to be in their way. I'm not going to dissuade them from taking action.
But at the same time, what I've witnessed from you multiple times is you dream first.
Yeah.
And then you say, okay, let's look at the obstacles.
Yeah.
Right. So in our coaching strategy with Invoke Change, we were talking about that the other day. It's like, essentially, we need to figure out what are the, what do we want? Right. What do you want in life? That's the first thing you should be figuring out. What the hell do you want? How the hell are you going to get to somewhere you need to go if you don't know what it is?
Well, I was thinking about this on the way here. A good question to ask is, why don't you already have that? And that's where you start.
I think that's step 2. That's a good way to put it. It's like, what do you want? Because that needs to be defined. And why don't you have that? And that's the obstacles.
You're gonna tell yourself exactly what it is unless you're super can't be self-aware.
Yeah. Well, and that's where the mind tricks come in, right?
Yeah.
Is you start essentially messing with people to make them like see what the real problem is, right?
Yep.
Without saying you're the problem, right? Because
Yeah.
that's nobody wants to hear that.
Mm-mm.
That's instant. Your Duke's gonna
Can't do
come up
that.
like, man, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Right. So what you need to do is you need to essentially coach people into seeing their own flaws, right?
Mhm.
Because the truth is, right? I love using this. I used it the other day at one of my coaching sessions. So what I was essentially doing is getting him to admit that everything that has happened in his life and everywhere where he's at is a result of his choices.
Yep.
Initially, he couldn't process that properly.
Mhm.
And I'm like, listen, you gotta hear what I'm saying. What I'm not saying is like everything's your fault. You're the reason why you suck. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is everything that has happened in your life is a result of the choices that you made.
Yep.
And when a veteran comes out to me and tells me like, well, I didn't want that to happen in Iraq. Like, you still signed the dotted line.
Yeah.
Nobody
you
forced
were
you.
open to all the options that
Mhm.
came after that.
And that's the thing too. Like, does it suck? Yeah, of course.
It does suck.
Absolutely. Right. You make a choice, you trust somebody and they fuck you. Yeah, it sucks. Right. But you still made that choice.
Yeah.
So the beautiful thing is, and the reason why I think this is so beautiful, if that's true, then what is also true is you are the only one with the ultimate ability to change that
Mhm.
and make everything better. Right. And if it's cut people out of your life, so be it.
Yep.
If it's, bring new people into your life that push against your morals a little bit,
Yep.
bring that person into your life, because if that person is doing that for you in turn to get you to actually level up in life,
Yeah.
then
That's what
yes,
every experience is.
exactly.
Every experience is, are you sure? Are you sure you're who you think you are?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of us are pretending, but
Yeah.
I
And
also
everything's-
live on the quote, live as if the future is today. Right.
Mhm.
So I've been talking about this retreat for 3 years.
Yep.
And everyone's like, well, when's the retreat when's it
It's
starting? I'm like,
not
well,
gonna happen.
it's not here yet, but this is what I'm saying. We're trying to get to the next level.
Okay.
Right. But anyway, so back to this. Sorry, we're still on this. Building 2 is phase 3. Phase 1 is get the property, get it zoned. Phase 2 is get the main facility up, which is right here. And then phase 3 is going to be the 1,800 square feet of jiu-jitsu mats, which is going to be amazing. And then also the rest is going to be all weightlifting. We'll have showers, we'll have bathrooms. I'm also looking at a sauna. Did you see that sauna that Will built?
No.
It was
I haven't
that.
been up there yet. I haven't seen anything.
Weren't you at Will's house?
Nope.
Man, I keep forgetting.
I'm not everywhere.
Anyway, I keep doing it. It's so weird. Like, you're always in my head, so I always assume you're there.
Aw.
Will actually made like a really nice sauna. And so I asked him, like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I don't know. We got to sell it. So I might buy it from him.
Okay.
So put the sauna right
That
outside,
would be really cool.
especially in the wintertime. Like, how
Yeah.
great would that be?
Definitely.
And then I also thought about like ice baths and everything, because the hot, cold.
All that stuff's so good for your
Exactly.
all of the things.
Well, the heat shock and the cold shock proteins that are released, right? So if you go down the Wim Hof path,
Yep.
Wim Hof takes ice cold showers. And if you're not taking ice cold showers, you should do it. Even
I
if it's,
can't.
dude,
It's like
I hate
I
it.
wait until I'm super comfortable and then I'll look away and I turn it. And then I'm like, all right, man, 20 seconds. Now I'm going back to
Dude,
the warm.
I'm at least like a minute and a half, and I'm just like, I just sit there
You
like,
get used to
oh
it
god.
after a minute, but then
Yeah, but it's
then it's like,
amazing
"Oh."
how good you feel, and it also
Yeah.
speeds up healing, which is great. And then same with heat, or
Yeah.
massive amounts of heat after a
Alternating.
workout. So we could do something like that, like having like a concrete platform outside, which would be great. So if you guys look at all this, and I talked to my jiu-jitsu coach, and we will officially be a Trax BJJ affiliate, which is
That's awesome,
awesome.
man.
So Mark is like a father to me. So phase 4 is going to be a 36 by 30 foot barn, which we'll be having. I've been talking to Acres for Life. I'm also helping a buddy of mine start another nonprofit, and they have horses.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to get a horse from Acres for Life.
Okay.
If not from my buddy here. I got a friend of mine who has a bunch of chickens. We might be getting chickens from them. If not, we'll get a bunch from Tractor Supply and
Chicken
just
King.
raise them as
Okay.
chicks. But we'll have chickens, goats. We'll have horses. We'll probably have like a donkey, because they're like really good alarm systems. And I also found a Great Pyrenees breeder. So we're going to have a Great Pyrenees,
I don't
which
even
is
know
like,
what that is.
it's like a giant like sheepdog,
Okay.
essentially. Like, they protect the flocks, right? But they live outside. So he'll actually live in the barn, which is going to be great. So just to look at the timeline real quick, our investor meeting is in August. And then we're hoping to move into the property by September or October. And then we have pretty much, I'm taking most of November off. I'm going to be just working on the house, getting it prepared to leave because I'm leaving for Rolling the Ocean at the end of November. So spend time with family and just get the house up to what it needs to be because the house needs a lot of work, dude.
Yeah.
So much work. But it's all cosmetic, which is good.
That is good.
Next year I'll be back from Rowing the Ocean, which, by the way, if you guys don't know, I'm rowing a boat across the ocean. December to January will be the first all Air Force team. I'll also be the first testicular cancer survivor to row across the ocean. Not really something that I wanted, but I mean, I'll take it, I guess. But the goal is to start building in April, and hopefully we're done building by June. And that's the first 2 buildings. I'd like to get both buildings first. If we get the 1.5 million, we're doing all 3 at the same time. Because it's 2 companies that are going to be doing this. One company is building the barn, and then one company is building the other 2 buildings.
Okay.
So if they can do all of them at the same time, wonderful.
Yeah.
And then we're hoping class number 1 will start in August, which class 1 is going to be you, Will, and then hopefully the rest of the board and a couple other ambassadors.
Okay.
Because you guys are going to go through the retreat first, right? Because it's all up here. And so I'm going to be giving you guys the retreat for 5 days and putting you through the 6 principles. And essentially your job is essentially to just get as much out of it as you can. And then afterwards, we're going to have a whole day for like an AAR.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, what really helped. You know, I'm going to have everybody writing down phrases and writing down things that really helped them throughout the week. And then we're also going to build a small workbook. Okay. So every veteran who comes out there is going to get a workbook. The way the retreat's going to work is 5 veterans from all around the country will fly into Minneapolis. I'll pick them up and drive them up to the retreat. We'll do an orientation, and then every day is going to be a different principle, right? So principle 1, principle 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not going to go over what they are. You can go to Warriors Next Adventure blog post. You can check out the 6 principles there.
Book coming soon.
Yeah, dude, I'm about 12,000 words in, so we're getting there. I want to finish by November, so I got like 3 months, so I don't think it's going to happen, dude. I don't know.
You'll do it.
I need some seclusion to really pound on it, so I'm going to stop sharing this and go back. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on the last few weeks, and that's the reason why I've been so damn busy. We're also not airing on Facebook right now, except for KGRA, because I'm banned right now for telling a veteran friend of mine who asked for my autograph. I was like, no, but we can strangle each other at jiu-jitsu next week, and I got banned for hate speech.
That's crazy,
Fucking
dude.
stupid is
You're being
that?
targeted, man.
Oh my god, dude, it's so dumb. I got banned a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago for saying every single person's inner redneck comes out when they hear "Ball with the Ball" from Kid Rock come out, because every kid was like, what, 6th grade when that came out or something. Like, it was so funny, and I got banned for that too, which is ridiculous. I'm getting so tired of this. So anyway, you know, you've been a huge part of really pushing this forward, you know, and once we had breakfast with Cheryl, that's kind of when everything just got pushed.
Like movies. We were like in scenes of movies for real.
It's
felt so great and magical.
It's so weird, man.
Like, how is this even happening right now with the things we're talking about?
Well, it's the thing, like, you know, finding the right person. Like when you speak with passion, right? You know how I speak to people. I speak with passion all the time. And when you're extremely passionate about the way that you live your life, and you live your life on a mission and a purpose, right? That's why I tell everybody, you know, live a life of purpose. When you're on that road, people are going to hear it. Yeah. You know, people are going to see what you're all about. Yeah, the right people.
People that match that.
Exactly. People that match your passion, but also people that see your abilities and what you're capable of, right? Finding the right people that are going to believe in you. That's so important, right? You know, like I try to be that person for veterans, because if they don't have that, I'll be it for them, right? You'll be it for them. And then slowly we're starting to expand as we go, like with Chad and Tommy doing their own thing over in New York and Omaha. The goal is to continue to build a fucking army of veterans who can help other veterans through mental health issues. And
in their own way.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be cookie.
Yeah.
Nothing is paper. Cookie cutter. Yeah. Nothing's cookie cutter. You know, my way is not going to be the same way somebody else heals other people. Yeah. The principles I think are pretty cookie cutter, right? But you have to apply them to your life in a way that
something different, but it's the same thing.
Yeah. The only thing is it's not going to apply to everybody the same.
Yeah.
Right. The principles are exactly the same for everybody. I guarantee you go down the 6 principles and you apply them to your life in your way for you, they will help you. Absolutely. And I 100% stand by that. I even say it in my book. there's 100% guarantee that if you apply these 6 principles to your life and you live this way for at least 6 months, your whole world will change.
Yep.
Because it's going to look at like, what are you grateful for? You know, what do you love? Like, go do that.
Yep.
Like, how many of you are out there working a job that you go to every day and you just hate it and you're miserable? You know,
And there's ways to cut down that and stay in that job.
exactly. It's just new appreciations, right? And I've had a lot of people that I've had to coach them through that, is finding a new appreciation for their job.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what does that job do for you? This one guy was like, well, I make like $80,000 a year. Like, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, man.
And he's like, my bills are only like $2,000 a month. And he's like, I have a lot of money. I was like, well, what are you doing after work? He's like, nothing. Like, what the hell are you doing, man?
Yep.
Like, you work 40 hours a week, you know, you have the whole rest of the week to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right. If you think about it, you get 8 hours of sleep a day, you work 40 hours a week, you still have plenty of time to work on yourself. You know, and I always tell people, if you don't have a hobby or a passion that's outside of your work,
Yeah,
you're wrong.
some way to express something about you.
Yeah. Like, even if it's jujitsu, if it's painting, if it's, you know,
All of the
playing with
things.
dogs, like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, when I was single, I used to go to the fucking Humane Society and just sit with dogs for 2-3 hours because I didn't want to drink. You know, and like,
It's
that
something to
was,
do, and it's an outlet for what kind of expression was that hitting on for you?
and it's a win-win too, because
Yeah.
that dog gets company, I get a little bit of love, you know, or
Exactly.
bit a
That's
couple
what it
times,
is.
whatever. It's a beneficial, it's a mutually beneficial, you know, passion or activity. That's the word I'm looking for. But like, you know, everybody needs to start living like as if life needs to be a win-win, because no matter what, I've had people try to do deals with me with Warriors Next Adventure, and I've looked at them and said, what do you get out of this?
Yeah.
Like, what do you get out of this? And, well, I don't know, like the tax write-off. I'm like, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't secure a beneficial partnership down the road if that's all it means to you.
yeah. Well, I think about it like this. Like, I don't think it means that much to them. I think it's just something for them to do. Right. So I need it to be a win-win. So
That helps you in short term.
Yeah.
Because you're getting what you want right now. But
Exactly.
when it comes to, I might need more, or I'm trying to cut down who I deal with because I want it to be more pure.
Exactly. Like Risen Warrior Coffee, salted caramel Warriors Next Adventure blend. It's amazing. I talked to a couple organizations and asked them about their coffees and stuff like that. And the reason why they won, the board voted on them. I already knew who I wanted, but I had to sell every single company, like, just pros and cons. And so I sold all 3 companies to them and said, this is the deal that we're going to get. One of them was Alpaca Guys Coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Their logo is so funny because it's an alpaca, but it looks like a penis, which I think is wonderful advertising.
That was like your pitch to the board, too.
I was like, I love the logo.
Hey,
but they were going
not to love.
I know, right? They were going to give us 100% of the proceeds for that blend. However, they've only had like 2,000 sales.
Yeah.
Like, ever.
Well, that and
so
long-term funny joke or meaningful message.
Exactly. Right. So like, yes, the alpaca thing was funny. And from what I've heard from everybody, their coffee's great, but it's just, there wasn't enough experience. And the reason why Risen
aspects need to come together like a puzzle piece.
Exactly.
Not the way it wasn't working.
Well, and Kayla and Morgan are both involved in mental health too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Kayla's a mental health coach, and Morgan is involved in the they have a mental health team for the sheriff's department, and so he's his sheriff's deputy, and so is she. They're both sheriff's deputies.
So it's a natural fit, man.
Yeah, it's perfect. You know, and salted caramel, they said, is one of their best sellers every time they do a special. And I'm kind of a Sally, and I like salted caramel with a little bit of French vanilla. Okay, a lot of bit of French vanilla.
You
So,
just
don't
you
judge
drink
me.
pretty much milk and then a little bit of coffee.
It's good though. But yeah, so like it has to be a win-win. So like what they offered us was a damn good deal.
Yeah.
But it still filled their pockets up too. I'm like, listen,
them.
exactly. I'm like,
Helping
I
us,
don't,
helping
I
you.
want you guys to make a profit off of this still. Like, I don't want everything. And so it's like, yeah, it would be nice, but you know, get an extra $2 or get a company that actually is still pushing to sell this blend because they're still going to make money and they lose no money on this deal.
Yeah.
Right. Other than, you know, they're making donations, and every time they donate, it's a tax write-off for them.
So
it's a win-win.
Added bonus. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, you would have, had you not been as passionate about what you do, you would have went with a different route. You went with them because it fits more holistically to
Yeah.
your message. And that's, you also were able to speak about what you knew what you needed
Yep.
from them. And you told them that you liked this about them. You made a really good relationship with these people. And like, people don't even do that with regular relationships.
I know, right?
You don't know what role you're playing.
Yeah.
Establish the roles, establish the expectations, make sure that it's mutually beneficial, and then move out in that direction.
Everything needs to be a win-win. And if it's somebody wins a little bit more, okay, that's fine. But
it's compensation, though.
Exactly.
And you can't have compensation for too long of a time, otherwise the machine fails.
Yep. And even if they were to chart like giving me $1 less, I wouldn't have cared because
Yeah.
they're packaging it, they're shipping it. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And that's the big bonus for me, is because I don't want to start my own coffee company. That's not what I want to do. There's so many veterans organizations out there doing it. Why would I not just reach out to them and have them do a blend for Warriors Next
Plus,
Adventure?
your influence is now that much further because
Mhm.
you're not taking away from what you're doing. You're
Yep.
adding to theirs, and they're adding to yours.
Well, that on top of that, Warriors Next Adventure is like 10,000 followers on Facebook, and they
Mhm.
have like 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's
should
going to
only
be
add to each other.
well, yeah, and that's 6,000 people that didn't see us, and that's 10,000 people that didn't see them. So it's perfect.
Yep.
It needs to be beneficial. So everybody who works with Warriors Next Adventure, there needs to be a mutually beneficial reason, not just money.
Yeah.
Right
And a
now, if
bottom
somebody
line
comes
of
up and gives us $1
helping
million and says, "Hey, put my logo on shit," I don't care anything about it. I'm like, I'd do that. Okay,
it depends.
that's fine. That's $1 million, right? That's $1 million of how many people
Depends
we
on
can
who
help.
it is, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there's always
We're
gonna
gonna
be
be
that
like,
what if.
what are those companies?
I mean, if it was like
Nazis and shit?
Adolf Hitler, I'm
That's
like,
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
no thanks. We might need to change that. But like,
Driving
even if like
Mitsubishis.
even if like a politician came up, I wouldn't say no to a politician's money, because no matter what, I don't like politics. I don't like getting involved in politics. I don't lean left or right. I'm pretty much right down the middle. Pretty much a want to smoke weed and carry a gun at my gay friend's wedding kind of guy.
Same, dude.
Just
God
leave me
damn.
alone.
Freedom. As long as you're not taking away or hurting somebody else,
Yeah.
leave me the fuck alone.
Don't hurt somebody else.
Sorry for swearing.
Yeah, it's okay. The only thing is like the A topic we don't get on because there's too many moral.
I don't even
abortion.
know. I don't even care.
Yeah, I don't get into
Not
those
my fight,
arguments.
bro.
My thing is like I think everybody should just do what's best for them. For the most part, but also like think about other
honest.
people. Like everything that I do, it does benefit me. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Does moving out to this ranch benefit me? Yes, 100%. Right. But that's not the reason why I'm doing it. The reason why I'm doing this, the reason why I'm trying to get rich, the reason why I'm trying to do all of these things now, it's not about like my life used to be about how am I going to get rich, right? Now it's how can I help more people? I need more money. Like
value.
how can
how
I
do
get
I distribute value?
Galen
Changing
Miller said
lives.
something that made sense. How do I turn up my impact?
Yeah, there you go.
The best way to
good.
turn up your impact is I need to make a lot more money.
What
And
role
so
would you need to be for that to be the things that you do in your life?
yeah,
What character does that?
exactly.
This guy.
Yeah. And it's just the thing is, everything I do is quite literally for myself, right?
Mhm.
And one of the big things that a lot of people still don't understand is because they're too shallow of thinkers.
Mhm.
You need to go deeper. And my love language is acts of service.
Mhm.
When I do nice things for people, it makes me feel good. If that makes me an asshole, I don't care. Because running this nonprofit and raising hundreds of thousands of dollars and hopefully millions here soon. The reason why I'm doing all these things is because not only do I know there's veterans out there that felt the way I did. I felt hopeless. I felt worthless. I felt like I had no friends. I provided no value.
Yeah.
So I wanted to create an organization that actually not only gave me value to myself, right, but also value to other people. It also showed other people a door that you can go through, right? This is a path that you can walk. And, I've had so many people jump on board, like Chad and Tommy were two of the first ones, and then Will got asked on as a board member, and then they started as ambassadors. And then I brought you on, I brought Jake on. There's so many people that I brought on that I see it not only helping them, just in giving them a sense of purpose, but it's also going to eventually mutually be beneficial to you as well. Right. And eventually it could be beneficial monetarily. Hopefully we can get to the point where we're big enough we can start paying salaries. But if anything,
and this is just step one.
Exactly. Like, look what I did with my speeches. Like I said, I want to be like Tony Robbins. For years I've been saying that. Like, you know what? Last year, It's like, I don't want to be like Tony Robbins. I want to be me, but I want to be as effective as Tony
Yeah,
Robbins.
take all the good qualities and integrate it into your personality type.
Yeah. And
That's
it's like,
all it
why
is.
can't I? Why can't I start my own coaching business? Why can't I
can.
start my own motivational speaking
And
business?
you did.
And I'm like, screw it. And so Invoke Change was born.
Yep.
So like
Here we
now
go.
I just got booked by the fucking Air Force, which
Hell
is
yeah, man.
amazing.
I'm very
And
excited
then
about that.
I also just got a phone call saying that the group of that base wants to have me out too, which is amazing. Working on Andrews Air Force Base, and I'm also working on Malmstrom Air Force Base because they both have had a lot of suicides recently. And the point is to essentially target bases that have had suicide rates because a guy reached out to me the other day, and I didn't hold on to anything he said because there's obviously something going on. But he's like, you're a huge piece of shit for targeting Air Force bases for money after there was just a suicide. I'm like, okay, listen, first off, I need to eat. Okay. I run an organization. I still need to make money.
Yeah.
Speeches are the only way I get paid, and it's not even paid through Warriors Next Venture. It's booked through Invoke Change.
Mm-hmm.
So I think about it like this. What is somebody's life worth? So I had a chief in the Air Force asking me about a month and a half ago, right? I'm not going to say what base he's at, but it's all in the East Coast. And he reached out to me. He's like, so like, I don't know how much we can pay you. Like would you mind doing it for free? I was like, okay, what does free mean to you? Right? What does that mean? Are you saying that you want me to spend all of my money to fly out to wherever I'm going, book my own hotel room for a whole week, pay for all of my own gas, pay for all of my own rental vehicle, do all of that for free? Right? Am I against that? No.
Mm-hmm.
However, do you think I'm going to be really motivated to want to go do that when you're with the Air Force?
Yeah.
Who has billions of
plus
dollars?
I know what you spend your money on.
Exactly. TVs. There's flat screen TVs in every damn room in the military. It's ridiculous.
It's split up that way when they receive funds.
Exactly.
Certain departments need to spend that much money.
Yeah.
They don't get this
exactly.
Next.
And you wonder why our inflation rates are so high. Anyway, it's like, what is your airman's life worth? You just had an airman kill himself, right? What could you have done different? This is something you can do differently, right? And so I go out. So essentially, the way it works when I do the Air Force thing, I go out for a whole week. I give 2 speeches. I teach jiu-jitsu seminars. I take people out for hikes. I sit there and I do one-on-one sessions.
Yeah, dude. And in that
full
rate,
week.
Why doesn't anybody do everything for free? Why
Exactly.
do we even get paid?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I build houses. Why don't you do it for free if you really
Exactly.
care? Bro, this is my job.
Yeah, and so there's a stigma on people making money off of helping people. Right. So I had somebody call me a grifter the other day because I was charging for life coaching sessions. Like, well, you're not a paid therapist. Like, no, I'm not a therapist. I'm labeled a life coach, right? Can a therapist go pick you up at your house and take you on a mountain climb? No. They can't. Legally, they can't.
How tied their hands are.
Exactly. And so as a life coach, I can take people hiking to waterfalls and climb up mountainsides and sit and look at relics and, talk about deep stuff and actually pull all that stuff out in an hour rather than sitting down in a room with somebody, in a dim, in a lab coat, just like, oh, tell me about yourself. How does that make you feel? Nobody likes that, right?
Could be this such and such a label that carries all of these negative connotations. So you got to watch out for that. Oh,
exactly.
Shit, I got more I got to worry about now.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm not knocking therapy. Go get therapy.
Yeah,
I still go to therapy.
Yeah,
it works. It works, right? But I would also suggest you guys looking in for like a good life coach too, because a life coach is essentially the same thing as a therapist, just somebody who is based off of experience rather than education. And what do you do when you go to school? You read books, you listen to lectures, and that's it. And then you get a degree. Why can't you do the same thing on your own?
We're essentially we're out in the field, like literally conducting research.
Yeah. I've been doing research since 2018 on veterans.
Like I'm seeing what works, what doesn't, what trend. You see the trends.
Yeah.
The people that have these types of personality traits react in this way. And how then I know how to best use what analogy, what's gonna cut through that barrier that they've created. That's gonna help them figure out the best way for them to move forward.
Well, on top of that, you think about too, like somebody asked me, how do you measure success in what you do? Right. They're still alive. That's that's pretty successful.
I'm still here.
When they call a suicide hotline or just reach out, I'm like, dude, I'm not okay. It's not just, are they still alive? That's not enough for me.
No.
Is it a success? I think so for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Can it be more successful? Yes. Right. And so the way I measure success is like a message I'm gonna read a message I just got the other day. I don't really brag about this stuff. Like Josh sees this. Everybody who works for WNA, I will share stuff that veterans send to me so
You
they can
need
see
it,
what they're a
though,
part
man.
of.
You gotta know. You have to
It's-
continually have a little
yeah.
bit of feedback so you know that it's beneficial to people. It's not just your
Exactly.
dream. It's not your dream anymore, man.
And
It's
that's
the
the thing.
real
Like
thing
I
we're living.
don't take what somebody says to me in private and share it to everybody.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the rare moment where I will do that. This is the reason why I do what I do. Says, hey man, a time ago you helped me out with some VA stuff. I was on probation and I couldn't afford any of the counseling anymore. I was never hooked up with my VA claim. He's like, it means a lot to me, and you were such a blessing to me. God bless you and your family. A lot has happened since, and I just wanted to say thank you for caring. That's like, by hearing how emotional I am just reading that shit, people should understand that's why I do what I do.
Yeah, man.
It's the thank yous, right? The secret
You're
thank
making
yous
me
that I
cry
get.
right now.
Like we're doing something that is not just like a thing to do. We're doing something that is quite literally turning people's lives around.
It's what I've always wanted to do. I just was lying to myself.
And that's the thing, man. Like you did it to yourself first.
Mhm.
The best people that do what we do are the ones that did it to themselves, right? I went from trying to kill myself in 2015 to being a high-ranking MMA fighter in Minnesota, to starting an organization, to climbing mountains, to speaking for the fucking Air Force, right? Like anybody can do what I did. Anybody
can do anything, really.
I truly believe that if you point something out as your passion and something that you truly want to do, it is attainable.
Mhm.
I don't think anything is unattainable aside from like growing wings and flying.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
Within natural law, like we said.
Yeah, let's stay on the natural law path. But the thing is, there's so many folks that create what's the word I'm looking for? Brain fart. Damn it, limitations.
Yeah.
Everybody creates limitations for you. They don't matter. They don't exist unless you make them happen.
Just locking into a story that you're telling about yourself
Mhm.
is you're setting your own limitations.
Yeah,
It's
it's an
literally
internal
like a
prison.
math limit. Like
Yeah.
this is how far it goes. And
Well, that's called an internal prison, right? So
Yeah.
we essentially write our own rules for ourselves, and you're putting yourself in an internal prison,
Mhm.
and you're telling yourself, "This is how I am
Mhm.
because of this."
Yep.
Why do you have to be like that?
Yep.
Well, because no, that's an excuse.
It's my TikTok, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. Which, by the way, go follow Josh WNA on TikTok. You're putting out some good shit, man.
Yeah.
What finally led you to actually putting out your stuff?
I
I know I've been pushing you to, but I want to hear
I don't
your
want to go as
reason.
deep as it really was, but
Let's go
deep. That's all I can do. No, but I was having a conversation with somebody, and I was noticing my my apprehension to speak what I actually thought because of whatever was happening in the situation.
Mhm.
But when I realized how much that just that one thing was holding me back in a lot of areas of my life, is being afraid to
say what you feel.
say what I feel, man. And it's not like I don't want to just go be a dick if I feel like being a dick, but you know what I mean? Within directing it, I didn't want to do anything on social media because I think a lot of those people are fake. So am I fake if I do it? No, not if I'm being honest, not if I'm doing everything that feels the way that it's natural. And I came to the conclusion that even if it misses a lot of people, even if they don't get what I'm doing, that to overcome my insecurity, I needed to realize that nobody does it the way that I do it.
Yeah.
And that's always going to change depending on more information. As I grow, it's going to change, but it's still always going to be the way I do things.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that now.
And that's why when we talked about the process for like Invoke Change, right? For the life coaching stuff, like this is my process.
Yep.
Take my process and duplicate it and then adjust it for whatever you need to get your job and to get your word out. Yeah. Right. So like, that's why I always tell like folks, like, I don't have expectations for somebody to be as passionate and do everything exactly the way I do, which makes it really hard for me to hire people, because like when I hire somebody and I'm giving you money now, you better do the job I fucking told you to do. Exactly. Because my name is attached to it. Right.
It's a part of that's a whole nother.
I watched a video the other day though. If you find somebody who's doing 70% of the effort that you would put into it, you got a plus, member, because You can never put your expectations on other people,
Mhm.
right? Because I do it this way, I want you to do it that way. Well, I'm a different person,
Mhm.
right? If you want it done exactly this way, you need to understand, either teach me how to do it properly,
Yep.
right? If it's something like, we'll use folding a towel, right?
Mhm.
There's 100 ways to
Well,
fold fucking
it's
towels.
task conditions and standards.
Exactly. But
It needs to be addressed before you do any training exercise
yes,
or any mission.
yes. But if your brand is the towel folded specifically this way,
Exactly.
it needs to be done
It
that way,
has to be.
right? So like that's just an analogy.
If you
But
want to do it another way, you go do your own company, bro.
yes,
That's why you're a part of mine.
exactly. And that's why the ambassadors of Warriors Next Adventure, everything's a guideline.
Mhm.
Nothing is set in stone, right? Other than been there, done that is a saying that is banned in this organization.
Hmm.
Nobody's allowed to say that. Been there, done that. Somebody said that to me, I immediately want to slap them.
Hmm.
So that phrase is banned. If I hear
Keep
that,
mine.
they're fired.
Got the t-shirt.
Been there, done that. You know that that meme where it's like Batman and Robin?
Yeah.
I want one of Robin saying, been there. That phrase is illegal.
One hua.
Yeah.
Maybe. I've been saying hua lately.
Hua.
It feels good. Do it once. Just
No,
say hua.
I can't do it.
Say hua
I
one
can't
more
do it.
goddamn time.
I can't. I'm not gay. Anyway, so the reason why we, obviously we expand a lot on mental health stuff between the
Yeah.
two of us because it's our lives.
It's always on my mind.
And if anybody needs to talk, I mean, it's very easy to reach us. You got was it nick.varradio@gmail.com. You can just send us a message on Facebook. Do not go to our Instagram anymore. It has been hacked. It is no longer us running that. So do not send messages to Instagram.
Somebody's running it.
Yes. Yes. And they're asking for money for followers and stuff. It's annoying. And Instagram won't take it down. But anyway, squirrel. Feel free to reach out to me, reach out to Josh. If you're a veteran, it's free. If you just need to chat with somebody, it doesn't cost money to talk to somebody. So like if you're especially a man out there struggling and you need somebody to talk to, reach out to one of us. We're always going to be here. We're always going to be available. And it's not weak to speak is what Team Motive was saying the other day.
Yeah.
Team Motive is the organization who's rowing from the UK. They're all British veterans.
Okay.
One was Royal Navy, one was Royal Air Force, one was, I don't know, Royal Army.
The other thing.
I don't know what the hell they are.
They do over there.
I don't know. We don't need to know that speak.
Mm-mm.
We broke off and started our own nation. But those guys, their tagline is "It's not weak to speak."
No, it's not.
I like it. So I started adding a hashtag to shit. I'm like, dude, I'm
like it.
stealing that. They're in the UK. What are they going to do? They'll just throw their tea around. It'll be fine. But yeah, so this retreat is, essentially what it's going to be is it's a 5-day retreat for 5 veterans once a month, right? Our goal is to get 60 veterans a year in there. We're also going to be throwing in some like recovery retreats for veterans that had to overcome addiction.
Okay.
So veterans that are in addiction recovery, I was thinking about looking at talking to Mara because she's a drug addiction counselor here in Minnesota, putting together some sort of addiction retreat. So it'll be the same thing as the 6 principles thing. It'll just be focused on addiction. Because I experienced addiction issues with alcohol and opiates and, the booger sugar for a little bit. But luckily, I don't do any of that crap anymore. I'm all 100% good to go.
You have addictions to other things,
I have addictions to helping people.
Oh, I like that.
I really do. And it's funny, too, because I've told people that really good. Like, no, I'm serious.
It's for real, yeah.
Like, I wake up in the morning and I don't want to get out of bed. And so I get on my phone and I start looking for veterans on Facebook and Instagram that are putting, like, shit that I don't like. Like, that sounds sketchy. Let's check on this guy, see if he's okay. I got a list of veterans, like, throughout the month. We're like, hey, call this person. And so I just go off and I check the list off every month, because there's certain guys that I know are still struggling and I want to make sure that they have somebody there for them, you know? And the thing is with WNA, like if you need help, it's your responsibility to call somebody and get help. It is your responsibility, not mine. Right. However, I do know how nice it is to have somebody reach out and say, hey man, you doing okay? Yeah. Like I've been banned from Facebook the last month. And I've had about 20 veterans reach out to me like, dude, are you okay? You haven't posted anything. I'm like, oh, it's so sweet.
Like me when I called you that I'm going to be gone for 2 days.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Because I probably would have texted you like, dude, where the hell's Josh, man?
If you had tried to call me and I didn't answer,
what's going on?
I promise I'm not killing myself. I was kayaking.
Which, how was that, by the way?
It was awesome, dude. It was like scenes from a video game.
Where'd you go?
We went on the St. Croix River.
How did that feel?
I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty anxious.
Yeah.
Yeah, got over that.
Is it just because you've never kayaked before, right?
Never done it. No.
I can't believe I've never taken you kayaking.
And we did it. Oh, we did it a lot. And then we camped out on an island. It was
How
pretty
many
fun.
days were you out there?
2 days, 1 night.
How'd you feel?
Great.
Like
a freaking man.
Yeah. So like the thing is too is like even though it may not have been 3 days, you could still get the effects of it,
Yeah.
right? So going out camping, especially hanging out with a bunch of dudes, like camping by a
I've
campfire.
been doing that for a while now.
Dude,
'cause
it's
I went
so
to
fun.
Idaho too.
Yeah. Yeah, with your dad and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we only have a few more minutes left here. What are you the most excited about with this retreat? I want to get like, what are your thoughts
I mean,
on
as
what
far
this
as
is
once it's
going to be?
completed,
Mhm.
Okay. I want to just see how it's gonna go. You know, like I obviously don't have the same vision you do because
Sure.
I'm not in your head, but I'm pretty close, I'm sure. So I just want to see that impact. How I want to see the people when they get there to when they leave, the difference. And
There's gonna be a lot of
that's-
tears at the end of those
yeah.
retreats, man. That's
gonna
the
be good.
goal. Like my goal is we're coming up with a graduation ceremony. Like every person who comes to the retreat will get every
love
person who
that.
comes to the retreat will get a Warriors Next Adventure Challenge coin. I thought about creating one just
It's
for
a
the retreat.
symbol, man.
I don't think I'm going to. I'm just going to use these because this is us, man. Like
I love it.
this is us. But we're also going to do a ceremony that I've created that I'll tell you offline because I don't want anybody to know until you've gone to the retreat.
Yeah.
So it's something specific to the retreat.
It's a right.
It's that, but it's also leaving your past behind you.
Mm.
Choosing to leave your past in a place that it's comfortable and it's safe. You know, because
I
the
like that.
past is not you. You know,
No.
the things that Josh did in the past is not Josh now.
Nope.
The things that Nick did in the past is not me now. Like I completely was reborn in 2015 and that old me is not alive anymore. Like I think about it like this all the time. You know, when I'm talking to vets about the third principle in accepting your past is you have to essentially accept your past and move on to the fourth principle, which is, look forward to a positive future. And in doing that, you essentially have to say, what are some things that I can do to become my own hero 5 years from now? Right. So if you ask somebody who's your hero, a lot of times nobody says themselves ever.
Yeah.
Right. It's very, very rare. There's a couple of people I've met that have said, well, me. And I'm like, why? And they give
Snoop
very,
Dogg.
very good. Yeah. They give really good examples. And so it's like, what are some things that you could do that you would look at yourself 5 years from now and go, wow. Like if you met yourself from 5 years or 5 years from now and he's done everything that you want to do, would you look at him and go, wow,
Yeah.
how do I become
I mean,
you?
I'm now, yes.
Yeah, it's
'cause of
crazy.
this, but
And that's part of what the 6 principles teaches you is essentially create yourself into your own hero and then go become that person. In 2015, I decided the person who could have talked me out of trying to shoot myself didn't exist. So I created that person. And 5 years later, no shit, talked a guy out of killing himself and took a gun out of his hands. So I literally created that person, but I actively became that person. And I
Yeah.
did the tasks that I wanted to do that I didn't have available to me 5 years ago. And so
it's a choice. It's a decision every step of the way. Is I'm making these decisions so I can be this person.
exactly. And the one phrase I want everybody to think about on here is, what's the benefit? What is the benefit of my actions right now going to do for my tomorrow? But we'll leave it at that. Go check out warriorsnextadventure.com. The website for the retreat, we're going to start putting it up soon. I don't really have any info for it yet, so we will get it up eventually. It's either going to be its own website or it will be attached to Warriors Next Adventure. Go check out houseforwarriors.org. They're an organization over in Colorado helping veterans with homelessness, which is amazing. They're one of our partners. And I'll likely have Andrew on the show here very soon. Thanks again to KGRA Digital Broadcasting. Really appreciate you guys for having us on the show and giving us all this time to just get off and get our ideas out there. So take care of yourselves and everybody get out there and do something for yourselves.
Perfect.